we got chick number 1, right? We got chick number 2, we got chick number 3, right?
I mean, girls do that too, and girls can do that too.
Okay, well, I guess everyone does that, but, we're like, okay, she's got a good personality, but, like, looks aren't on par. Okay, next one. She's pretty good, she's got a lot of features and this and that, nothing. Wait, that's what I'm saying. Like, great, I think that's such a terrible thing. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Unfiltered Couple Podcast Show.
My name is Justin.
I'm Kelsey.
And today's topic is going to be...
Love at first sight.
Yes. Is it true edition?
Or not.
Yes, this is episode 4. So if you haven't watched episode 1, 2, and 3, I highly suggest to go watch those. Suggest to go watch those videos. Make sure if you like our content, make sure you guys subscribe to our channel, and also follow us on all the podcast platforms. We'll be on Apple Music,
Apple Music, Spotify, in the process.
Yes, and Instagram is not a podcast platform, but yes, follow us on Instagram at the Unfiltered Podcast. Anyways,
no, the Unfiltered Couple
Show.
Sorry, we have to practice more.
Anyways, we're going to get right into this episode about is love
at first sight real?
Yes.
Or fake?
Or in our perspectives.
Okay.
So.
Well, I mean, what do you think? Do you think love at first sight is true in your perspective and compare it to like other girls and me?
We're going to go ahead and talk with our experience because
obviously it depends person to person.
Right, but in our relationship, no. We do not believe that love at first sight was real because we both did not like each other, I guess.
True.
Well, when we first saw each other, we weren't like, "Oh my goodness, like she was the one," or in my perspective.
Mine too.
Yeah, we were both just like
we weren't even friends.
Right. We
like,
just knew
I didn't
each
even
other.
know him. We just knew each other because other people in our friend group knew each other.
So, in our opinions, I don't think love at first sight is true.
Or is applicable. It can be true for other people.
It can.
But for our relationship, it wasn't.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm probably, if you ask your parents or anybody, they'll tell you that love at first sight was never true. Because why? You don't get to know them at the first time you see them. How are you going to know them just by looking? You're just looking at appearance, right?
Yeah.
You're not seeing them on how they act and stuff like that. You're only seeing how they look.
Well, I think if you're more like physically attracted to someone, yeah, it can be like attraction at first sight. But in order to really
But that's not love.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
In order to really love someone, in my
sassy.
opinion, and I'm sure yours too, is to really know that person from the inside. So I guess love at first sight, I would see it as attraction at first sight.
Yeah, you gotta work for love. I don't think it's something that you see the moment you see some. Like just like in a business meeting, right? You don't get to know that person just by looking at. There is appearance-wise, right? They're wearing a suit or they're formally dressed, but
you might be attracted. You might think,
I'm talking about business, silly.
Oh, you could be attracted to someone in business.
In business, I'm talking about like a boss and a employee.
Yeah.
Right? Like
you could still be physically attracted.
No, when they're having an interview. Right? When they're having an interview, like you see them and you judge them how the appearance, but you don't get to actually know them until they start talking and you start interviewing them. That's the same thing. Love at first sight for us was not really a thing.
That's good.
It was more of like, more than appearance, it was more like getting to know each other for understanding.
Yeah, but like what made you, I think for most people, like you have to, even like online dating, it's all physically. What's so funny?
Nothing.
It's all like physical, like you have to, what's so funny?
Nothing. Yes, it is.
You check the picture and you see if you like them. So what was it like for you?
Well,
How
we
did
didn't
you
we
know
didn't
you?
online
How
date.
did you know that you wanted to approach me? Because I sure didn't. I sure didn't want to. Like, I never even thought of you. You were out of my mind.
I'm a baller, so you know.
Did you physically? Were you physically attracted at least a little bit?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you wouldn't just go up to a random person and start talking to them unless they're up to your standards, I guess. I guess that could be a word because everyone is different. Um, but
For me, I didn't even think about
right.
you, to be honest.
But it's always, that's why they say always like, it's better to say something than not.
Yeah.
Like even in business, I keep relating it to business because that's all I can relate.
Yeah.
Analysis.
Analogy.
Or give an analogy about.
Is analogize a word?
I don't know.
Analogy.
Anyways, it's like a business, right? If you don't say a word, no one's gonna know who you are. But if you want to get your,
I like that interview analogy up.
that's the wrong. I'm not even talking to. I passed the interview.
I'm just saying, I like that analogy.
Okay. Anyways, yes, I do think that you should always shoot your shot, basically, right? Because you never know if that person is actually the one, or if you like that person, or just you never know who that person is until you start talking, right?
Yeah.
So regardless of if you're awkward, if you're just nervous, right? It's always good to just talk because there are traits that you never knew that the girl or the one that you're looking for sort of wants, right?
I stand by that.
Yeah,
because even for me, like, I didn't even, second guess or think about you in the first place.
Right.
Like, I never thought of you as a person that I would date because I always had that expectation of dating someone older than me. Like, personally, I've always wanted to date someone older than me or a little bit older. And in our relationship, he's younger than I am, like, grade-wise. So I never even thought of you. You were just a friend of a friend, and
Well,
I never even second looked at you, but I did give you a chance.
Right, it's just love. Well, the meaning of love at first sight is that the moment that you both look at each other, you are
in love. Like, you have to marry that person.
And no.
I mean,
there's no. Okay. I'm not gonna say it.
You're
it's
not gonna
not
say it's
possible.
wrong. Yeah, because.
But like you can, I guess, get attracted to each other the moment you look at each other. Like the moment you see them in the eyes, like as you glaze by the mall. I don't know. You probably can see that you both are attractive, but if you don't shoot your shot, right, then it's not love at first, right?
Chance. But like, I mean, everyone's definition of love is different, and love at first sight is different. So this is just our opinions. Just a little deeper look into love at first sight, but
I can hear you spit. Go. Anyway.
ASMR.
Ew. Yes, but in our opinion, I don't think love at first sight is true. I think
it can be for other people, though.
I just think that you should be very open-minded and give a presence of yourself, right? Don't stay in the background. I mean, if you want a relationship, you got to work for it, right? Nothing just comes in front of you. Nothing is just offered in front of you. Just like anything in life, right? You got to work for it. So even in a relationship, I do think that if you don't try, right, then it's not going to work, right? And so I think love is just a accumulation of knowing each other. I think, in my opinion, word of love is like accumulation of understanding the person more and more, right?
And then growing to like care.
Right, it's like a tree, the moment you get a tree, it's really small, right?
You're really on top of these analogies today.
Yeah, I'm on fire today. So it's like a tree, right? So, when you buy a tree at Home Depot, right? You don't want to buy the biggest tree because you can't take it home or it's too expensive, right? You want to grow it from the small one because it's cheaper, right? And it's easy to transport. Right, so you plant a seed, right, or you get a small seed that's already growing, right, and then the more love you give, right, the more care you give, the bigger the tree gets, and so that's a great way to sort of see love, right? Because I guess I'm not trying to say that love at first sight is not true, but people do, get very short-term relationships because it's like
physical.
Right. It's like
attracted.
he is the one, right? And then she says he is the one, right? But they don't grow that love, right? It's always just about looks.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that some people really just don't want to admit that, they really don't have feelings for each other, but it's more like attraction.
Attraction?
Yes. Attraction and how people view the two of them together. I think some people just can't let that go.
I think so too.
And can't accept that.
Yeah, it's not just yes, attraction is it's a big part of it, right? That's our nature, right? That's I guess a human habit or just a natural mammal habit. Like, just all living creatures. That's the main part. Like
humanly thing.
Right. Our job is to basically reproduce. That is our main job as humans or living creatures. So like there is a trait that attraction is a big part of it, right? But there's also there's other things including, right? Because it's not just about just looks, because down the road when you're 60 or 70 or 80, you're not going to look the same, right? So like if you're going to go by just how someone looks, then when you're 80, right, you're probably just not going to date them because you're like, oh, I want somebody that's par with me, right? But you also age. So like, I don't believe too much on looks, right? It does, I think it takes a part on something, right? Because you can't, I mean, like look at think of an ugly dog.
Another analogy.
Yeah, think of an ugly dog, right?
Justin has an ugly dog.
Okay. Let's not say ugly. I think ugly is just a harsh word. Let's just say
he's just
a non-ordinary dog, okay?
He's albino.
Yeah, but let's just say not an ordinary dog, but people don't hate dogs because they're different, right? They like dogs because of their what do you call it?
Acts.
Yeah,
or how they act.
How they act. Yeah, their personalities, right? That's what's big and important because looks do make a difference. But if your dog is the best looking dog but the most aggressive dog in the world, how many people in the world are gonna like that dog?
Yeah,
probably like 10%, right? Unless you're like really into like hardcore, like yeah, But I'm just saying, like, usually people like dogs that are more friendly or petable and like playable and stuff like that, right? And that's just basically their personality, right? So it's not all about looks. I think love at first sight is going to be more about getting to know them before you're actually in love. So I think attraction in first sight is true.
Yeah.
Love at first sight, in our opinions, is
not true.
Not true.
Love at first sight.
Yeah.
We would like to call it attraction or attracted at first sight.
And I guess some people can disagree, and that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. And I just want you guys to understand that these are our opinions and what we think from our relationship. So if you've met your significant other by love at first sight,
and you consider it love at first sight, that's
congratulations.
Totally fine.
Yeah, we just did not.
Just technically speaking, just going deeper into it, we believe that love at first sight is more than being like eyes first.
Right.
It's more than being just physically attracted. It's being able to understand that person and know that person after you are physically attracted to them and after you make that move because of the attraction.
Right. And I think just like high schools or nowadays middle school, because
middle and high school, middle school.
Yeah, even maybe elementary. Who knows? But anyways, everyone is so focused on how they look, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna date the hottest chick in the school or whatever, right? But like in actuality, you don't have to be the hottest person to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
There's so many other people who are not the hottest person in the school,
but they find their
they have so many other relationships.
Match.
So it's like, it's not all about looks. And like, I don't know if you guys know, but like the hottest person in your school, right, maybe in the future becomes a nobody, right? I think that's happened in our school, and it probably happens to everyone, right?
It just disappears. Like, as you get older, it doesn't really matter. Everyone goes their own path.
Right. So it's like, it's not all about looks. Like I said, it's just more about the person itself. Because like being honest, like if you're the top hottest person in the school, you probably have an attitude or perceived as somebody who is like hard to get. Just I guess like actual attitude and personality is just not good, right? Your looks may be good and it may be in par, but your attitude or your personality might fail a little bit. And like I guess it just comes out to what you really want in a relationship is, the features and stuff the most important part about your relationship, or is it, just getting to know the person and having a bond with the person more important? And I guess in high school and middle school, you really don't care about that. That's not what you really think. So I think if you are a teenager, right, or if you're in middle school, if you're in elementary school, or even in high school, right, stop worrying about the person's look, right? Because, that's not the most important part about it. And I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard a lot people saying like, looks is not everything, blah, 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 right?
But it's really true.
It is, but you have to sort of, understand yourself, right? Are you the most handsomest or the most beautifulest person in the world, right? No, you're not, right? And that's all just about the perspective of someone else, right? So somebody might think you are not the prettiest, but somebody else might think you're the prettiest, right? So it's all about that perception of the other one, right? So don't worry too much on looks, really. I mean, yes, make sure you're clean and you brush your teeth.
I mean, whatever floats your boat, to be honest.
Yeah, but make sure your hygienes are good, right? You don't want to like have yellowing teeth and like ripped pants. I'm just saying, like you want to make sure you're looking your best.
You want to make sure you're approachable.
Right, you want to look your best.
I don't know, if you want it, you could be all that and find your match. You know,
yes.
Someone who can handle that, who likes that, who has a knack for that.
People like yellow. Okay, well, I'm not judging, but there probably is people who do like.
But you know what's so
yellowing
funny?
Teeth or rotting teeth, or I don't know.
But you know it's so funny, when we first started dating, or I think with most relationships or like similar relationships around us, we like dress really nice for each other, and like when we first started dating, but like after, like now, we just don't give a flying flip sometimes. Like we just sweater, nothing, just because we've grown to know each other.
It's very we're very comfortable in our own skins.
But when we dress up in those like occasional times where we go out and like dress up, it's like a whole new thing. And I think that's what kind of like sparks it again,
Okay.
Like makes it like spicy.
But yeah, I mean, you always want to keep your relationship
like
fresh. Yeah, you don't want to keep
fresh.
it dull. You just don't keep it. Well, I'm not saying like drastically change, like start like dyeing your hair like red and like getting plastic surgery, all this. But it's always good to switch things up a little bit, right? And give a new flavor to your relationship, right? And that's what I'm saying. You can't find that type of love at first sight, in my opinion, right?
Most definitely.
You've got to sort of grow with it, right? And just manipulate love in your own terms. I think that's what's important. It's not in society's norm of love.
Or like a definition of love.
It's what you feel inside with that person. And unless you get to know that person, you won't be able to know that, right? So I think it's very important to just understand that don't worry about finding that one. Like don't be like, you know what? Okay. I think guys are like, okay, we got 3 girls right here, okay? So like we're like, all right, which one is the best looking? All right, which one has the best? Like stop grading girls. I think that, or if you are heterosexual, is that if you're into boys, into girls?
Heterosexual is if you are well, this is not the definition, but
in my in terms of
female, male.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're heterosexual, it can work for if you're gay or anything, but I'm just saying, in my own terms, like guys, I don't know why, but we always grade things. Like we're okay. We got chick number 1, right? We got chick number 2. We got chick number 3, right?
I mean, girls do that too, and girls can do that
Okay,
too.
well, I guess everyone does that, but we're like, okay, he's got a good person, she's got a good personality, but like looks aren't on par. Okay, next one. She's pretty good. She's got a lot of features and this and that, and nothing. Wait, that's what I'm saying. Like, great. I think that's such a terrible thing because you cannot
judge a book.
Yeah, you cannot just go in a relationship choosing out of 3 girls. That's not how relationships work. You know what I mean? Like, imagine flies, right? Flies do not go.
Another analogy.
Yeah, like, I mean, we're the only ones who are smart enough, right? Humans are smart enough to make our own logical decisions and cognitive behavior and stuff. Yeah. But, like, think of, like, like insects by chance, right? Insects don't just go up to a girl and start looking at them and go, looking at a female and go, nah, she's not the one. I'm just going to go to another one. They just, like, they're like, all right, we got a girl incoming, let's go. You know what I mean? That's what they're thinking. They're just like, they don't care about that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think we should, as humans, not start grading people, because I think that's so terrible. Like, okay, you know what? She's skinny, or she's got big eyes, or this, like, that's not important, right? It's just know the person, right? It doesn't matter if you're gonna have a relationship with them. It's always good to know that person, right? And see if it's a good fit for you.
Yeah, and I think a lot, like nowadays, a lot of us use like Tinder or Grindr or like online dating sites, and all you can really do is, you can post your bio, but you also have your picture. Those are the main things that people go through, and they either swipe left or right or whatever. I've never done that before, but it's a very big thing nowadays. And it's kind of like, my opinion on that is, you can do it, whatever floats your boat, but like, I don't think it's the best way. Because if it were switched to where it was only bio, like true bio based, like, it would be a totally different ball game.
Right. So, I mean, there's so many things, there's different factors, right? Because like you can manipulate your photos.
Anything can be manipulated.
Right. And so
it's like,
who are you to really know the person unless you talk to them in person or meet them, right? Or even online, especially with Corona, like just meeting them online, right? You have a better chance of getting to know them by having a video chat or Zooming with them than by picture. That's what I'm saying. Like, Instagram is one part, right? But it's not the full picture, because Instagram just gives you...
You can put out whatever you want anyone else to see.
Right. So it's always important to understand that it's not just looks, right? Love, coming back to it, love has to be grown into something, right? It isn't something where... you just like it cannot just be made. It's like wealth, you know what I mean? Like, you don't, like, even a job, you have to go up the ladder to start making more money and more money and more money, right?
Work your way up.
Yeah, you got to work your way up. And that's the same thing as a relationship. It's not just something that's, you see the person and it's there, right? You ask your parents, right? They'll tell you, it's not all 100%, right? They're always working to make it better and better and better, right? Obviously, no one has a perfect relationship. Yeah. And if you do, I mean, I would love to learn how you have a perfect relationship, but for most people, it's not, because even trees, right? If you want the tree to go up, but the tree is going to the side, what are you going to do? You're going to start trimming the tree, right? To the way you want it to go. And that's the same thing with relationships. There's going to be fights and this and that, but you're going to understand each other and trim off the pieces that you guys don't like with each other, right? So it's just always good to know that love, like, you don't have to find the one that's for you. You just need to work with the person and find that,
not manipulate, but like,
create it as the
mold
one that
the way and transform it together, and your mindset has to be similar on that too.
Right.
And I think that's where, like, a lot of my, I don't know, like, my friends and people around us, like, they're like, hey, like, they just joke around, like, hey, like,
truck in the back.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're like, hey, why don't you start dating other people? You're in your early 20s. You need to experience, other guys. Are you sure you want to date, this one guy? And are you going to marry him and all that? And it's like,
That's like a norm.
Yeah, and I hear that all the time.
Right.
And it's like, for me, it's like, well, I found the person that I can see myself with in the future. And like, we're both on the same page and we both want to work towards our relationship long term. And that's what we've talked to each other about, and we're set on the same page on that. And that's why we're working towards that. And we're still together working on it to, I touched the mic, to grow our tree in our life. So I hear that all the time.
It's just a society norm. I think
and it makes me feel like,
right, I mean,
what?
It's just like social media.
Wrong?
Right, it's like social media. It portrays things that people should have.
Yeah.
Like society norms. And look, you don't need to go by society norms, right? Mm-hmm. Like for me, example, everyone tells you need to go to college and do this and do that. You need to go to corporate America. That's a society norm, and that's what probably 95% of everyone does, right? But there's that 5% who doesn't go by society norms, and they probably have a happier life because they've done what they wanted in life instead of what society makes you think, right? And like that's why I don't like social media for relationships so much, is because it's such a blind eye view. They give you such the best, beautiful parts about it, and they never tell you about the horrible things, or not horrible, but the negative parts of a relationship.
And that's why we've created this podcast.
Right. Because
and it's so frustrating. Like for me, it's like, how can you tell me that I need to be meeting 20 other guys? Like, I'm happy the way I am. If I don't like my relationship, I would have called it off. But maybe unlike you and unlike your perspective, that you telling me to be dating other people, maybe you've done that.
Right.
But for me, I'm totally fine. I'm trying to work on my relationship and make it long term because I believe in my relationship. Right. But like, it's just for me, the audacity of people to be able to say that to me, like, really, come on now. Like, even at church, you know, I go to church and people in my, like, people who think they're close to me, they're like, oh, you've been dating this guy or this one guy like forever now, but isn't it time? And they're just jokingly saying that, but isn't it time for you to move on?
There's a light in the back. I was like, what?
It's the light from the blinds.
From the blinds.
Like, isn't it time to move on? Like, you're so young, you're so pretty, like, okay, but like you could be dating so many other people, and that's just what people say. Okay. And it's just another reason to be like, you should be dating other people, experiencing other people. How are you going to know if you don't experience other people?
All right, Kelsey, I'm just going to let you know. We have 2 minutes. We're running out of battery, guys. Oh. So we've got 2 minutes. So I think we're going to end this episode right here.
Yeah. But I'm just saying it's frustrating.
Yes. But hopefully you guys got to the end picture that love is not true at first sight. It is working together as a couple, right, with your partner to manipulate what love is in your own terms. So we're going to end it off on that note. Make sure you guys, if you do like what we talk about and giving you guys basically an unfiltered view of our relationship, then make sure you guys subscribe to our channel and all our podcasts. Add us and download our podcast.
Coming soon, yeah. Yes. We'll let you guys know. Follow us on Instagram at the Unfiltered Couple Show.
Right. I mean, they should have it by the time we post this. So, you guys will all know. Some people will come from podcasts, or some people will come from YouTube. But we'll see you guys in the next one. And we're out.
Bye.
Bye, guys.